Hello there and welcome to my channel Novice Modelling in the Midlife Crisis. My name is Andy and as you can see we have our Academy 1/700th scale kit number 14214 R.M.S Titanic Centenary Edition back in front of us, and look what I have created. I finished it, so it's April the 15th, so Titanic actually sank at 1:15 AM this morning. There was a little bit of a delay with this video. We would have liked to release it earlier, but we were waiting for the Titanic Distillery's Irish whiskey to turn up, which should have turned up about 5 days ago. But Jeff Bezos, I'm afraid you failed me on this occasion. It went missing. It failed to arrive, a little bit like the Titanic itself. And it's only turned up today, so I only thought it fitting to have my swig of my drink while I discuss the completed build with you. So there's 4 previous videos to this, which are the actual build sequence, done one per day, and there is a full what's in the box available as well. So there is a link in the description bar to the build series with those videos in underneath the video, so you can have a look at those if you do so like. But basically I'm just going to run through what we've actually done here, and then I'm going to have a swig of my whiskey and tell you what I think of that as well. Secret, I've actually had a little taste, it's quite nice. So this is kind of different to most kits that you get, as this actually comes self-coloured. So the plastic is already coloured, so there's no actual requirement to paint it if you want. So I suppose you could say, for someone like myself, a novice, this is really good, because painting something like this and getting a good finish could pose a little bit of a challenge, because there's lots of small parts to go on these benches and these bollards at the back, etc. So there is the option to obviously paint it as well if you did want to, but I decided just to whap this one together. Seemed logical to me. So when you actually get the parts, you get this bottom half of the hull is separate to the black half, and is obviously separate to all the decking and the superstructure. So for me, it seemed like a really good idea, and it does look pretty good. I doubt I could have got a better finish on that if I was going to paint it myself. I mean, obviously some things like the railings at the back here are all filled in, so they're a little bit, you know, I mean, you can, I'm sure, get aftermarket parts for these. But we'll discuss what I actually found in the box. We did actually paint a few little things on here. We've painted our smokestacks because they're provided in this rather bright orange colour, which, if you're going to do this and do it well, what the hell were you thinking there, Academy? That's wrong. You can see on the box here, they have this sort of flesh. So that's a gripe. I've got to be honest with you. If you're going to do a sort of self-coloured plastic kit that doesn't require painting, if the owner decides that, why do this? So there's a gripe for you. It does actually come with some gold coloured propellers, but it does actually come with the option of black ones as well. I didn't really fancy these bright gold ones. There was also one part missing. It is important to realise that this is a charity shop buy, so there is actually a couple of parts missing, which we'll go into shortly, and what I had to do to overcome the issue. All the parts came off the sprue quite nice. I did have some of these little brown seats left over. There is nowhere for me to put them. I mean, I could have put them on, I suppose, but there are little indentations in the decking for where they go. So they're going in the spares box. So as far as putting this thing together, it went together well. I mean, I had a few issues with it personally, but that's mainly down to my method of building, which is kind of rushed, because I am a bit of a technophobe and I can't really get my head around editing videos. So when I do these things, I just tend to build for 12 minutes and see where we've got. And the issues that I had, which if you're going to do this properly and take your time, I'm sure you won't have, were with the forward section and rear section of this deck here. This is has a mounted support at the front, but there is no support here. So it was kind of free floating, and that caused me some problems when I tried to mount the superstructure on. But I resolved that by gluing, obviously, but also by putting some Play-Doh in the forward and aft hold to support it. That just kind of seemed logical to me at the end of the day. I mean, I'm sure most people would just use the glue, which you're supposed to do, but like with my method of building, it kind of caused me a little bit of an issue. What other issues do we have? We made a little bit of a mistake when we mounted the superstructure because we mounted it a little bit too far forward. And as you can see here, there is a little gap there. And there is a gap here that we've put some Vallejo plastic putty in. But again, that's something that was an issue with my personal build style. And there were a couple of these little black bollards missing from my kit. Charity shop again, so that's not a kit issue. But there was some of these little spare, and they were supposed to go here and here. But there was some spare of these little white, I don't know what these are called, these little vent things. So I just popped them in the holes instead. And unless you're an expert or a maritime expert or historian, you'd never know that was a problem. And unfortunately, I did actually break this piece of rigging here when we were doing some, when we were putting this cotton rigging on. Bit of an oopsie, but never mind. And have you noticed? Yeah, that funnel there, that's a bit fake. This top portion of the smokestack was actually missing from my kit. Again, charity shop issue. And as a temporary sort of stopgap measure, I've made this out of some black Play-Doh. Yeah, Play-Doh comes in black. That's it there. And it's almost a bob-on right colour. And it's not bad. I mean, I've got to be honest with you. I can't tell the difference from a distance if I take my glasses off. So that suits me fine. So they were the only little issues that I had. And again, they're mainly down to, you know, my own personal problems. There was this, what's this called? This propeller shaft here. This actually comes in black plastic. This was pointed out to me by one of my good viewers, Brian. And luckily for me, I have the ICM full set of paints. And the wine red was almost a bob on match, so I managed to remedy that. But it just seems to me that if you're going to do a coloured version, why didn't they just have that moulded in? Paints I used Rusty Brass by ICM on the propellers because they were black, and they're supposed to be bronze, but that's the nearest I've got. I used XF15 Flesh on the funnels because, as we'd already discussed, they were bright orange. I did my anchor in dark iron because that came off the white sprue and was white. And I've used a bit of this XF16 aluminium on the glazed sections, not very well I might add, because they were just self-coloured in brown or white, and I figured they needed a little bit of a kick. Also, this section of deck here is not supposed to be white, but it's off a white sprue. It should be the deck colour. But I couldn't find anything after trial that I could get to match it. And I kind of thought deck in a different colour to the already rest of the deck is just a problem. So I left it white. So that's a little thing. The decals here, the flags are correctly represented with the US flag and the White Star and the Union Jack, though I think that should be a Merchant Marine ensign, to be quite honest with you. But they're as per the instructions. I did have a lot of problems getting these on, but some bright sparkers actually said to me, well, you're supposed to mount them on sweetie wrappers. And I'm like, right, okay, that kind of makes sense, because they were a nightmare. The rigging is just not supplied. This is just a standard piece of black cotton. And this little staff here I had to add myself to give myself something to tie it to. I just wrapped these round because I'm terrible with knots. I wrapped them round and just stuck a bit of Tamiya cement on them, and they seem to be holding quite well. We did actually add a crow's nest because, as Brian pointed out, it's an important part of the story. That isn't included in the kit. That was just a piece of waste sprue, basically. So I think that looks quite good. Other painting options that you can do, I suppose, these are supposed to be canvas covered. Canvas covers on the lifeboats. I suppose really you could do those in a sort of very pale grey. That might add a little bit more sort of popping aesthetic to it. But otherwise, I'm quite happy with it. I mean, it looks pretty good. Oh, that was it. Now, if you consider this is made for a sort of novice, maybe, with it being self-coloured and somebody that doesn't really know what they're doing and hasn't really got the necessary equipment, I had to drill the holes in the bottom here to mount the stand, which I haven't got a problem with because I've got a model drill. But for anybody that doesn't have a model drill and only figures this out like I did when I'd actually finished it, having a built kit and then trying to drill a hole in it is a bit of an issue. Plus, the hole was required is slightly bigger than my biggest drill. So that took a little bit of wangling to do. And I think that's it, really. I mean, I'm pretty happy with it. I think it looks pretty cool. So to give you the history of this kit, we've already done this in the What's in the Box, but I have found a few things out since. This kit originally turned up in 2007. The actual kit base. This was reboxed in 2012 for the centenary edition because it's 100 years since it's sinking. Around about the same time, Airfix pinched the tool as well. So if you get an Airfix kit, you're getting the same tooling as this Academy one. The difference being, I assume, that Airfix is just going to be all one colour and you're going to need to paint it, because they do a painting set box as well. So the Airfix one, if you want these and you can't find these, they are kind of still available for around about sort of 27 to 30 quid on eBay. The Airfix is the one way to go, but you're going to have to paint it. So that suits most people, I think. So whatever. I have actually discovered since that Hobby Boss actually do a R.M.S Olympic, the sister ship, in Dazzle camouflage with Dazzle paint on it for its service as a troop ship in World War I. So that might turn up, because that's an interesting sort of addition to this. And you can also get the Britannic from Hobby Boss with its extra lifeboat mechanisms in its hospital ship livery. So don't be too surprised if we find a Olympic and a Britannic turning up on the channel at some point over the next year or so, because I kind of like this, and I kind of like the idea of having the three. So there we go. You paint glues that we used Tamiya Extra Thin and Tamiya Standard Cement, and we had a jolly good time when we did it. So the only real thing that's left for me to do now is to have a little tipple of my Titanic Distillers whiskey. But I'm just going to read out the where is it, the thing on the, oh, here it is, here. A blend of fine Irish whiskey, simple, honest, true. This is the spirit of the workers who built the great ship. A story of blood, sweat and years. Is that years or tears? And after another hard day's work, hard day's graft, their reward was waiting, rich, full, amber-coloured and warm, a measure of pride. So I got this off Amazon as well. Like I said, it was late, like the ship. And you can currently get it for about £26.06, I think it is. So that's a pretty fair price for a nicest bottle of whiskey, and also comes in this nice presentation tube as well, which I'll find useful because I save money in these things. So I'm going to have a little swig of that now. Ah, smells nice. Yeah, and it does what it says on the tin. Got a bit of punch to it. I'm not into this sort of telling you what the various flavours are, but that's for £26. That's pretty good. It's on offer at the moment. I think it's normally about 30 something quid, so I'm not too sure whether it's worth 30, but for £26 that's a nice drink. So thanks very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe, and remember that is a link in the description bar to the rest of the build series for this kit. And we'll be moving on now to our You Choose My Next Build feature, which is a whole bunch of interesting Polish 172 aircraft. And we'll be endeavouring over the next couple of days to finish off my military miniatures Tamiya set, being 35048, which is me having a go at pre-shading with my new airbrush. So there we go. Hope you decide to tune in again and watch some more of my model making malarkey and madness. Best of luck with whatever you're building, and as always, be seeing you. Let's have another swig of that. Oh yeah, baby.